Good morning and welcome to Ohio. We have action from the women's power pool at this WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships. My name is Hannah Pendlebury and I have the delight this morning of being joined in the commentary booth by the wonderful Emmy Fitzgerald. How are you feeling this morning, Emmy?
I am great and I am so excited for this matchup here. It's a bit of a rivalry between these two teams. They faced each other 3 times so far just in this season. YAKA leading the series 2-1.
That is exactly right, Emmy. We saw over in the European scene, I had the pleasure of calling both these teams thus far. They've had, as you say, 2 matchups at the Windmill tournament, which was the most recent. The pool, well, I say pool play, it's a weird format at Windmill. It's a Swiss draw, which the algorithm is king. First one went to YAKA. Pretty handy scoreline there. They won with a dominating performance, 15-4. Then everything changed in semis, Emmy. What happened?
In semis, well, YAKA faced a difficult quarterfinal matchup, they say, going into the semifinal. And Mainzelmädchen beat YAKA in that semifinal game and really took YAKA out of the championship contention in the tournament. So they have a little bit of an axe to grind, as we say, and this a must-win situation for both teams.
Definitely power pool stages here at this tournament. Mainzelmädchen coming out of a ridiculous 3-way tie. They actually got top spot in that sort of 3-way tie by virtue of +1 points difference. How tight can we say is Pool H? But YAKA did not have an easy ride here. Who did they face, Emmy?
YAKA, so far, they faced Brilliance on the live stream, and they lost to them the first day. And then they also lost their following game. They did not have a great Sunday, but then really turned it around for Monday coming in. And now they really want to use that momentum that they built up yesterday to just kind of keep continuing and play to the level that they know that they're capable.
Exactly. Looking at those 2 scorelines, we had they squeaked out a win against Bamboo of Colombia, 15-13. Then just not quite enough to surmount Fusion of Canada, who looked very, very strong in Pool B. -16 points difference, though. -15 for Mainzelmädchen, so you'd hope we'd get a close one out of this live stream game this morning.
Both teams evenly matched and have a couple different zone looks that they said that they were looking to employ. There's a bit of a breeze out here. The wind has definitely been stronger so far in the tournament than what we've seen right now. But sometimes it's early in the morning. You're still kind of getting your body loose and warmed up. Those zones can also be effective in forcing teams to throw a lot of passes that then may not be completed.
Yes, and we have seen YAKA at the first slot on the live stream not really come out particularly awake in their game against Brilliance. They went down 4-0 right off the bat and put themselves in a huge hole. Same thing happened during that semi. They let Mainzelmädchen get plenty on the board and then had to work to try and, you know, stamp their ticket for the comeback train at the end of that match, Emmy, and just couldn't quite make it. So, as you say, a right rivalry we've got on the cards in this women's game. But we've got the sunshine and the gentle wind.
And the temperature really isn't too bad right now. It's 74 degrees Fahrenheit, 9:04 local time. And I mean, that is about 20 degrees cooler than what it has been in the afternoons.
And the heat here has been punishing. I know we've certainly been having in our team discussions, Emmy, plenty of talks about making sure we stay hydrated. Hydration is key. And I enjoyed your anecdotes about hydration levels, but we'll get underway here in this women's match. YAKA of France against Mainzelmädchen of Germany. Mainzelmädchen immediately coming out with a horizontal stack, and the white shirts of YAKA normally play in red, so there must have been a battle this morning as to who could wear the favored color. Asakawa right now on the disc. Watch out for her. Very rapid in the windmill final, but there is an unforced error early stage and an opportunity for YAKA to take a break.
And that turnover is actually very similar to the first turnover that YAKA had versus Brilliance, that Brilliance used to capitalize for an early break. So let's see if YAKA can convert and go up early.
Oh, we'll see a big put going up to Wiseman. Very capable target, doesn't even leave the ground. And that is a break of score right out of the bat. First plug goes to YAKA.
And Wiseman, always known as a strong force, really, and in the handler spot and the deep. But if she's going towards the end zone, you put it there. She is open, has a bit of a height advantage on Kyoko Hosokawa. Just straight in to get that early break.
And so, first point on the board goes to YAKA. They'll be delighted with that to not go down in this game, Emmy. But Mainzelmädchen now crucial hold for their O-line. As we see a little shot there of Robin Wiseman, as we're a big fan of Robin Wiseman. She is obviously joining us, obviously. We are delighted to have her on board as one of our player commentators. One of 4 we have this week. Bringing that little extra piece of something and giving us a break, Emmy. Okay.
And so much wonderful insight as well.
And so again, Mainzelmädchen with the horizontal stack. Really taking some perhaps quite open undershots, and there we go, find some movement upfield. Centers. Doesn't like the up. Oh, great separation. Good footwork from number 56. And finds the far side, near corner of the end zone. That's much better offense.
Right away, you can tell Mainzelmädchen was running their offense. They had a little bit of a miscue in that first point, but they are off to the races. Quick disc movement, looking for those continuations. And then eventually, just straight up the fourth side line to get that score to the front cone.
Yeah, credit to the Mainzelmädchen patience on that point. So, Emmy, that's one apiece. Nice and gentle. Obviously, the initial break from YAKA. But if Mainzelmädchen can keep their form and keep the, the focus that they just had in that point, it's definitely not a big deal to go 1-0 down. But all important, of course, is to now see what the defensive line's going to come out with. And so we see the O-line of YAKA. Wiseman appearing on both sides. Finds Glinka. To Berthe. Nice movement from the YAKA horizontal stack. So both teams using that. And there we see an unforced error from the hand of Anna Williams. That was a hashtag YAKA Americans line we've got here, Emmy. Glinka, Williams, and Wiseman all on. And we see the young hand. A near sideline. Not finding much trouble, and there's an easy score for number 19, Barbara Weil.
And little miscues have been the story of the turnovers for both teams so far in this game. YAKA converted to start, and then now Mainzelmädchen looks on that misfortune. And I mean, at this level of competition, if you turn it over, you have to be prepared to play defense and not give it back. Great strike cut to get that score.
So, Mainzelmädchen get a break straight back. We said before the beginning of that point, it would be very important to see how they come out as a D-line. A bit of an error of concentration from YAKA. Williams not, focused and she got 2 hands to that disc, Emmy. It's unusual to see a drop in that situation.
And sometimes it's a case of having a little bit of nerves, knowing the stakes of this game, and you're looking ahead, thinking about the next throw or option. There, maybe you see a player out of the corner of your eye that you're not focusing on catching it.
Well, both teams are going to have to focus hard throughout this match. The previous results are anything to go by, could turn into a bit of a grinder as YAKA find Rigolet on the far sideline. Up to Rodriguez. Is she going to be able to make up yards? No, she is bailed out by her teammate, number 15, Wolfsteiner, who finds Rodriguez far side. Great piece of footwork from the Colombian-born Rodriguez. That was beautiful.
And Daniela Rodriguez, with that great footwork, you could see, making sure to keep her feet in bounds, not knowing exactly how close, but taking care of the most important part, which is catching the disc.
Yes, all too often, Emmy, you will see people not catching, thinking too much about their feet. You gotta get the disc in hands first. Doesn't matter where your feet are if you haven't caught the frisbee.
If you're out of bounds, it wasn't going to count anyway, but it definitely won't count if you don't catch it. That's the pinnacle of the sport. You must catch.
Always
each
catch the
time.
frisbee. Yes, whether you're on offense or defense. That's always my advice. Because we had there's a highlight reel that came out about catching your Ds from an earlier live stream game, which made me giggle on the web. So. But definitely YAKA using sort of Rodriguez as a bit of a get out of jail free card there. Backed up very well by the overthrow. Annika Wolfsteiner.
Wolfsteiner, just such heads up play. And I think that was a drop pull.
Oh
yes.
My goodness. So that's giving YAKA a very valuable opportunity indeed. Extremely short end zone. Looks like they're going to isolate Rodriguez in the space with Glinka behind her. And a hammer comes out from the hands of Rasta, and that is a break again for YAKA, taking it 3-2 as we see Rodriguez celebrating.
And disappointment certainly for Essie Mueller as the disc just kind of fell out of her hands, but not wasting any time to convert. YAKA up 3-2. We'll be back right after this.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
So YAKA getting a second break in this women's power pool match. Pool M, we have Mainzelmädchen of Germany, and of course, as we say, YAKA from France, the women of Noisy-le-Sec, who are now coming out in a zone look. That's going to cause an immediate overthrow from Mainzelmädchen and another opportunity for a very short field break.
This is the second point in a row.
Oh, but Rodriguez unable to do the tasty footwork on that far side this time, Emmy. Just a poor throw as the cup will reset. Oh, and a big backhand. That's going to sit and hang. Oh, an excellent read. Complete miscue there from Anne Leborn. Unable to get the defensive play. So Mainzelmädchen are given a bit of respite from their early error. And they'll look to need to swing it round. And a lovely inside floater. Time for Rasta to make a play, but she doesn't. Into the hands of Kosnitsky and into the end zone. Bit of a discussion on the play, but it's going to be called in. And that's lovely work from Melina Kosnicki.
And it looked dicey for Mainzelmädchen, turning it over right away on the YAKA goal line, but YAKA unable to convert. Mainzelmädchen going over the top to, on the other side of the field, highly contested. But those are the kinds of plays they have to make, and then further down on the disc to be able to win the game. YAKA is not going to give it to them, but Mainzelmädchen is doing a great job taking advantage of those opportunities.
Opportunistic offense. It might not look pretty, but it definitely was effective in this instance. They were lucky, though, to be given the disc back when Rodriguez couldn't tow it that far sideline. You can't be coming out like that, Emmy, especially against a zone. I mean, that's exactly what it's designed to do. You've got to keep your cool, but they squeaked it out for a hole. We're now 3 apiece in this match. YAKA, of course, with that extra break of score, giving them the slight advantage, as we'll see their O-line. So, yeah, more horizontal stack, but here we come. A zone look of Mainzelmädchen zone as we see Paula Bass near sideline. Paula was telling us it is her mum's birthday this morning. So happy birthday, Mrs. Bass. Or Mummy Bass, I should say. Not sure if she'll be with us with the time difference. 6 hours behind the Europeans right now. But certainly we'll be watching this back and being very proud of her daughter, who with her team is making some excellent zone offense right now. And Rigolette's going to take the shot into the open hands of Laura Dale.
Great movement from YAKA, going all the way back and forth. Some hammers were effective. There were some wide, bladier throws that were effective. And then that movement allowed more holes in the cup to really slice that through and continue. Once you've really broken through a cup that has 4 players in the cup, that leaves some vulnerabilities downfield. You get that opening, then it's off to the races.
And look at Dale, just so open. So a nice, easy one there, I think, for YAKA.
It was very smart zone offense and took some riskier throws. Sometimes the hammers are what zones are trying to bait as well, hoping it will float, but not quite enough wind out here that makes hammers that difficult, especially players at this throwing level.
And the wind not particularly strong this morning. It's been typical of this tournament, Emmy, to have quite a low breeze, gentle, just kind of caressing the players, which is much needed because it's been quite humid at points. Not so bad today with blue, clear skies, but wind certainly picks up later in the day where we'll see these zone looks be more effective. But right now, Mainzelmädchen will need to keep their focus and do the same as YAKA in the previous point. Hasakawa wildly faking. She's got a reset, crashing in. Kosnicki, those two had phenomenal games in the windmill final against Atletico. Wee bit of an upset there, Atletico having not taken any losses until they met Mainzelmädchen, so certainly capable of taking down the bigger teams. But looking very clustered near side. A little bit of contact there.
The trap is definitely working, and the way that the cup moves had been making it very difficult to swing across, really until this point. But you can see all of this extra field right outside of the cup. So it's swarming, but it's risky. Any kind of hang, the defenders could potentially get there.
Indeed, in that previous slightly opportunistic point we were talking about earlier, Emmy, there were definitely some discs with a lot of hang time that Mainzelmädchen, you could say, were lucky to come off with. Not enough handlers breaking through the cup. But that's a lovely safety reset.
And any more hang, there definitely could have been a block there. YAKA not always having a handler behind the cup.
And there we see a lack, Emmy, of the strategy you were talking about of once you're through the cup being off to the races. But we see a transition now from YAKA into match defense, as we'll see a big hut go up, separation in the end zone. Glinka tries to have a look at it, but it is a score. Beautiful placement into the hands of Elise Becker.
And got to credit the patience for this Mainzelmädchen zone offense. Lots of fakes, crashing the cup, swinging across, and then from the YAKA side, knowing that once there's a big break through the cup, rather than still waiting till maybe the red zone to crumble into a match defense, they see, okay, once they kind of make it through, let's transition out, let's crack, you know, sometimes it's called a fire call or whatnot. But even with that, sometimes there's some confusion. Mainzelmädchen able to capitalize and get that goal.
So that ties it up 4 apiece. Mainzelmädchen of Germany and YAKA of France. So a little bit of the histories of this team. Mainzelmädchen are actually a combination of players from Mainz and Darmstadt in Germany, which is sort of the central west region if you look at it on the map. Whereas YAKA, whose name means just do it, coming out of Noisy-le-Sec in Paris, which is an eastern suburb, Emmy.
I love, before the game, players talking about YAKA means just do it, and this is YAKA.
Oh, and they're just doing it there. Can she just get her hands around it? Yes, she can. Elise Becker tumbling to the ground. That was at the very edge of her reach there, Emmy.
Elise Becker, even using 2 hands, I'm impressed that she was even able to get 2 hands on that disc.
And so Wolfsteiner rips it. Just, what's this? So Becker just going no consideration from her body and just, oh, that's going to be a little bit sore on the knees there.
The ground is pretty soft. I guess that's one benefit of the humid conditions here. They did mow the grass yesterday evening, but it is still pretty long. It's certainly not like the putting green at a golf course. Not that length. Maybe fairway length, you could say.
I can only imagine, Emmy, what Ultimate wearing. Well, so obviously we have a number of Ultimate specific cleats now, but any kind of cleat would absolutely muller a putting green. I mean, it'd be lovely initially because it's quite bouncy and soft and nice because, you know, a bit like playing on sprung surfaces the indoor season in Europe. But that would get very, very nasty very quickly.
I couldn't imagine a groundskeeper's face seeing Ultimate being played on a putting green.
I think they just cry, wouldn't they? They'd sit there and cry in their little carts. But something that's not making us cry is currently this game, which is tight as they come right now in this first half. We'll see Robin Wiseman there ready to launch the pull, which is a roller. Oh, I really like that one. See Mainzelmädchen running to try and get it in play before the defense has a chance to set up.
And that extra roll really did give the YAKA Cup an opportunity to get down and set up.
Oh, the lesser seen play from Wiseman. But Mainzelmädchen able to find some good flow right now. I know YAKA was trying to shut that flow down. Krasnitsky far side centers to Müller. Janitska doesn't like Hosokawa in the middle. She's instead Ganago. Back to Müller. Krasnitsky far side. Got Hosokawa up the line. Everyone going up the line. Not much in the way of a swing, so it's going to be a big shot. And it's going to sail far too far deep. Neither Hoffman nor Hund able to get under that.
And that was definitely a result of a strike, but without a fill into that handler spot. A strike is a great opportunity to get some movement around the disc, but you need another handler to come back and give a second option. She didn't have that second option, so I will credit the thrower for punting it towards the end zone rather than turning it over and giving more yards to YAKA.
A very fantastic bailout throw if ever there was, but you're quite right. They should have just communicated a little better and had that fill cut coming through. So YAKA, opportunity for a break. Right now, she's got Glinka in the end zone off a huge hook from Wiseman, and that's going to be battered away by the hand of Kosznitsky. Really fantastic play there from the defender.
Kosznitsky was in great position, and that hung just enough, but had great angle going to Glinka. But Kosznitsky closing in is enough to get one hand that cannot be caught.
It's interesting, considering how bladey that came down. That sat for a long while. I think actually probably a poor shot from Wiseman.
If she led the pass a little bit more, I think Glinka could have run onto it.
It's always going to be a challenging catch. Either way. It's Mainzelmädchen, another opportunity, and there's a great defensive bid. A little bit of contact on the way out, but good attack from Alan Williams. So short field for YAKA now to see Mondio finding Wiseman to Glinka. Oh, and an overthrow for Pauline Bertha.
And Bertha was cutting under, but her defender was very close, forcing Glinka to throw that to her outside shoulder. That's a tough throw if you don't have quite enough angle on it.
Yeah, Bertha's second year on this YAKA side, hailing from Grenoble, the local scene there. The Monkeys of Grenoble run a lovely tournament called Monkey Fu Emmy. I'd highly recommend attending. It's got a great atmosphere and great level of play.
With a name like Monkey Fu, I don't see how it couldn't be just so much fun.
Oh, and an error, costly, just tumbling out of the hands of Janitska. And Mondio calling for a stack vertical. She's going to put it out into space. Can Robin Wiseman come up with the goods? She does. She makes it look easy, Emmy.
Wiseman looked like, for many players, that would just be out of reach, but not for Robin Wiseman. Such a great catch.
So let's get another eye on that easy-looking layout. So that'll be 6-4, break to the French ladies of YAKA. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
Welcome back to the action. Here we have YAKA of France at 6, Mainzelmädchen of Germany at 4. Just seen a break of score. And the players in red now on the attack, trying to get the break back. Well, sorry, hold first even. And so, a zony look from YAKA, just in a sense of the 3 flat handler marks. Hosokawa pops it over to the far sideline. Swinging across, good work. Ooh, attack from Laura Dale. Putting on a little bit of pressure. Mainzelmädchen being held by this loose look with match upfield. Nice shot down the sideline. Kosznitsky Pulls it in under pressure. Slow advancing down the field. Hosokawa now. Finds Wisniewski. Got separation in the end zone. Chooses not to take the option. But a good come under. Knocking on the doorstep now. Gonna need to swing. Hosokawa is gonna use her speed. Oh, and we've seen her make that move so many times before in these games. Fantastic footwork from the speedy handler.
Mainzelmädchen did a great job of initially cutting away from the disc, then getting a fake from the thrower and using that to then come back under. And that kind of separation is really what they needed to shake the defense, as YAKA was playing a very, very tight match D. Gives that opportunity for Hosokawa to come straight to the end zone.
And so what do you think about that zony look from YAKA there, Remy? It seemed to really stifle that we saw them use it against Russian's Brilliance as well.
I think that was a really smart choice to do that kind of zone, because for Mainzelmädchen's side, you come out down by 2, you want to get a quick score right away. So how does that happen? Usually some kind of isolation play, you send someone deep. Well, if you have your handlers sagging in those throwing lanes, it's very difficult to put up that deep look. You have very, very tight defense on a person one-on-one from the cutter side, and it made the options more difficult for Mainzelmädchen.
But luckily for the players in red, they were able to keep their focus. And so now D-line in need of a break of score here. And YAKA will throw a huge hammer over the top from the hand of Mondiaux. Nice reset. We'll now see a zone look of Mainzelmädchen. Isolated player on the far sideline. No one seemed to be aware of her. Perhaps the sideline chat not being effective, and then use that space again. Richon very effective that far sideline. Glinka's gonna misread it though. Just watches that sail over her head. She'll be disappointed with that one.
YAKA was doing a great job spreading the field from a width perspective and a length. Just couldn't convert.
Yeah, I love that smooth hammer over the top as well. Said earlier that's what they were trying to bait with this zone, but I think it's very effective.
If you have the throw, take the throw.
And at this level, so many players do have that. Saw a push-pass score from YAKA already this tournament, so certainly some talent. Oh, a great redemption of a miscued throw. And then we see a beautiful shot. Nice and simple into the hand of the number 19, Barbara Weil. But that was some excellent teammate backing up as the disc sailed over the head of 16-year-old Thea Prince.
That was a strong, strong break from Mainzelmädchen. YAKA certainly making them work for it. You can see Gross Brockmann having to go to the ground to catch it, but they needed that to tie it up instead of continuing in a deficit.
And their captain, as you say, Grosse Braukmann, going to ground, keeping the disc alive for her team. And that is what is much needed, as that is a break of score, Emmy. So 6 apiece. Mainzelmädchen break back. Still trailing 1 though. YAKA on the lead in this game, but by no means are they far behind, as we see a beautiful aerial shot there. So Bass in the middle of the field. Got Rodriguez for a little pop shot. Nice bit of play and catch between those two. So this is nice aggressive handler movement. You can see Rodriguez shuffling forward as Bass takes the disc through a bit of defensive pressure. Looking very calm, the 3 handlers. Rigolet. Bit of a defender caught sleeping by Wolfsteiner, and there we go, sinks it into Lahai. And that was such a calm piece of work from YAKA.
YAKA working so well between their handlers and then gaining yards with their cutters, but still staying very conservative with the throws. I mean, you can see nearly twice there were block attempts from Mainzelmädchen. They couldn't quite get there, but even when that block is missed, that gives about a second extra for the thrower to really be able to look upfield before she has a mark on her that can be used to your advantage.
Wow, so that is 7-6 now in this women's power pool game. It's very important to both sides as we come close to the half. If YAKA can get a break here of score, they will go in with the great advantage into the second stage of this game. In power pool N, it's going to be, M, it's twinned with power pool I from the top finishes in some other pools. The top spot of the pool will play either Iceni or Iris of Canada. So all still to play for, but of course YAKA coming in with one loss into this power pool stage at the hands of Fusion, whereas Mainzel have a win from their game against Daeom Kume after that lethal three-way tie.
Just shows every single point matters, and it's a matter of inches, figuratively speaking, and sometimes literally too, that could change the course of a game.
And there you see a matter of inches right in front of our commentary booth, Emmy. We see the disc just, the hand close, but not around it, of Anne-Christine Muller. Mondiaux with Bertha. She looks for the talismanic handler, finds her in the center of the field. Across to Wiseman, out to space. Quite a lot of separation on the unders upfield, but good work on the mark to close those off. And a big shot from the hand of Mondiaux, triple coverage, and that is a beautiful play by sorry, that is not Wolfsteiner. That is the 55 shot of Melina Kośnicki.
Kośnicki was there, but so were two of her other Mainzelmädchen teammates. And so it was really a 3-on-1 situation on Berthe.
Yeah, that one sat for way too long, allowed, as you say, triple coverage, plenty of defenders getting involved. And so we see Kośnicki lacking options, no one crashing through the middle of the cup. I'd like to see the handler set be way more aggressive here, Emmy. They're trying to use the throws rather than their legs.
And a few crashes into the cup can make a huge difference. It's all about those angles.
It really is. If you watch Revolution play against a zone, that's exactly what they do. They don't use their throws, they just use their legs to relentlessly crash through and get it behind the cup and keep going, as we see Kośnicki going for it. Oh my goodness. Robin Wiseman, I think, gets enough of a piece of it just to knock it out of their hands, but nearly a catch there from Kośnicki. So Wiseman with the disc into Mondiaux. Back to Wiseman, those two not having played together very long, but looking like they've been doing it for the best part of a decade, as we see Hosokawa batting it away. Not a fan of the hitting the disc there, Emmy. I think she probably could have caught it and immediately set up the offense before the zone had a chance to set.
That is another benefit to catching your D, is not only does it make it impossible for the offense to have a second shot, but like you said, this trap has been very effective from YAKA. The Mainzelmädchen handlers working really hard, struggling a little bit with it. They need every advantage that they can get.
Well, speaking to the teams before the game, Memi, we knew that YAKA were so aware of needing to stop Mainzelmädchen's flow. Oh, as we see a redeemed pass. That's going to just sail over the top. Conservation of greatness, if ever there was. Just sails over the fingertips of Katharina Hoffmann.
Her release could have been a little bit lower to have a little more control on that throw, keep it in bounds.
So, easy opportunity for Wiseman. Oh, huge separation, but great work on the mark. Shuts that down. Not an easy thrower to shut off the hand of Robin Wiseman. So decorated, so talented. Already a World Ultimate Club Championships gold with the mix of dragon thrust as a jump ball into the end zone, and nobody catches it whatsoever. Richon seemed to have a really good vision of that, Emmy. I don't know what happened.
I think maybe if there are just a lot of people around, it's hard to say, but both teams, you can tell, are so eager to go to the end zone, but having just some mistakes and errors, can't get in a rhythm.
And so Mainzelmädchen with another opportunity to keep the half alive. Asakawa finds Krasnitsky. Bit of contact, but will resolve quite quickly. Nice work up the far sideline. Richon trailing. Gonna need to find that swing coming through, that fill cut. But we find the far sideline and an easy pass, nice and simple, out of the hands of the number 69, Julia Trebing.
Trebing was guarded by Wiseman, and that is a tough matchup, but credit to her for staying very patient, waiting for the play to develop in what was turning into a pretty long point back and forth, but Mainzelmädchen taking control. They really needed to score that point, and they did.
Well, keeping the half alive off a bit of a scrappy one. Certainly seeing some of the best and perhaps some of the worst, really, from both of these teams in this women's power pool game. But there is the score into the hands of Ganyagel, who loves a good comeback player. We asked her what her favourite sports people were. She said there are too many, but she loves a good comeback. Hopefully,
I love that.
Hopefully we won't see Mainzelmädchen go so far behind that they need an epic comeback. Hopefully we'll just see a nice tight one all the way through.
And she's had a good tournament so far, 5 assists and 3 goals coming into this game.
And so YAKA now, well, Galaxy Point as known, last point before the half. Key situation now, as we'll see it go over the head of Bus. She does manage to recover and take the disc out of sky, but I think YAKA's starting to look a little bit shaken maybe, Emmy. As we see this poachy, zony look from the players in red. Rodriguez comes and gets involved. Really loves her lefty high release backhands. See those a lot from her, creating spaces that others might not necessarily be able to find.
YAKA is really flooding the handler space on this near sideline and took a while to get it back over, but then right back. Yes, they're moving the cup, but this is the sideline where they're really trying to trap. So they need to work it over to the far sideline and try and keep it there and move upfield.
Mainzelmädchen very good at playing zone. We saw it in the women's final at Windmill where they took down Atletico. Discussing before the game, they were saying they're not going to play it too much because they thought YAKA might have figured it out, but generates a turn. Beautiful opportunity now. Pick call. So we see a very free Melina Kostitsky in the middle of the field.
A little too open, as they say.
Yeah, she fast. She's not that fast. So, key opportunity now. On the disc, we see Kaya dressing. She's going to find the swing around. Asakawa using her speed again on Bus. Oh, and finds the center of the middle, and that is a huge point there for Mainzelmädchen, Emmy. taking the half, 8-7 with a break.
YAKA was up by 2 at one point in the first half. Mainzelmädchen, though, just not giving up, sticking with their game plan, and they now take the half 8-7.
So we have Mainzelmädchen in the lead in this women's power pool game. What a half it's been. We'll be back with more action soon.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds.
And even defy gravity.
A place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
Welcome back to halftime here in Women's Power Pool M. Emmy, it's been a scintillating one so far.
Such an exciting game, going back and forth. We start with a break from YAKA. Mainzelmädchen gets breaks of their own. YAKA returns with it. Zone looks from either team. Really clean offense from either team. Some very big errors. We had a dropped pull in the first half. We've had some handler miscues, but it's both teams have been able to really overcome some of this to keep it very close.
Well, back on serve now, as we'll see the highlights thus far. Tasty piece of footwork from Rodriguez. Early stages. And then some miscues on defense there, Emmy, really, to give Mainzelmädchen that first offensive hold.
The spacing so great for Mainzelmädchen. And then on the YAKA side, using their whole body to score when it's necessary.
We've seen lots of redemption throws there. We see Captain Grosse Braukmann. And a very tight defense of both sides. Game of inches, you said earlier, Emmy, and I couldn't agree more. The great defensive bids all around. Nice pops up. And we'll finish with that lovely Wiseman layout. We'll be back just after this. Welcome back to halftime here. Women's Power Pool M. We have Mainzelmädchen of Mainz and Darmstadt in Germany and YAKA from Noisy-le-Sec in Paris, France. I'm joined by Emmy Fitzgerald in the booth on this beautiful sunny Tuesday morning. And it's been a bit of a game, Emmy. I'm very excited.
It's a very evenly matched game, and you can see the passion from both teams. They know they have to win. The point differential for the three-way tie in this pool was a +1. everything matters. There have been mistakes on both sides. There have been some great plays on both sides of the disc, but that is what contributes into an exciting game of Ultimate.
It certainly is, and we've had plenty of excitement this morning. We've seen layouts from both sides. I really enjoyed the redemption layout of Große Braukmann. She went to keep the disc alive. But I think at the moment, I feel like even though, you know, 3 breaks apiece, YAKA are looking like they have that slight edge, that just glint of extra something, because when those very tight windows of defense are coming down, they just look a little bit more finessed. We saw a very scrappy point early on from Mainzelmädchen, putting up discs and sort of just really benefiting from the defense not quite making it.
You can tell that Mainzelmädchen has really great flow around. Their break throws are wonderful. You can also see YAKA has a lot of those hammers and over the tops. So it's a battle of 2 different offensive styles that are clashing in a really exciting way.
Indeed, and I am excited to see what happens in the second half, but we'll have to catch that after some of this.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
No kid should have an overuse injury. Limit young ones to 1 sport per season, save sport specialization for later, and cross-train with your kids. Parents and kids will both benefit.
Second half action here, about to get underway. Players in red, the Mainzelmädchen of Germany, who are currently on serve, 8 points to 7 against YAKA of France. So crucial defensive point now. Emmy, what do you think we're going to see?
I think we'll continue to see the zone look from YAKA. Their trap onto this near sideline has been really effective. It's forcing Mainzelmädchen to work with a lot of different throws. You can tell their handlers are moving in different positions. But on the same side, the Mainzelmädchen defensive looks have been effective as well. And then from there, it's how do those teams then adapt to the crumble, to the different zone looks. It's not the same one every time. Should be really fun.
Well, both sides do love a good huck, so perhaps those zones to try and shut those down, but YAKA will need to punch this one in, or else they might see the game slip away as the semi-final did back in Windmill, but a short month ago. Great opening up the space in the zone. This is good, solid offensive play from YAKA. Rodriguez near sideline. And a complete miscue. That is disappointing, Emmy, and it put a valuable opportunity now for Mainzelmädchen.
It is. This is the break that Mainzelmädchen needs, quite literally.
And a vertical stack we see, Emmy, before us. For the first time. Kosnicki far sideline, they love that far sideline, and there's the other unforced error, 1 apiece. Opening point the second half.
You can see the energy from the sidelines then are on the field. It is not lost on either team what they need to do to continue on in the tournament.
Cheeky little scuba fake there from Wiseman as they channel it down that far sideline. Wind is pushing towards us as we are on the screen, so good use of the strong side of the pitch, but a little bit sheltered by the bleachers behind. Good work from Mainzelmädchen's defense, but get it through eventually. Good work, and now we'll see a transition from Mainzelmädchen as the call is on the field, echoed by the sideline. Rodriguez on the disc. Resets to Wiseman. Lots of players cutting in the end zone. And not able to get in front. Koźnicki just overpowered by the sheer physical form of Gian Delaval. And there we see that all-important hold coming into this second half.
So a little bit of miscues to start the first half, but then YAKA, you can see, really in their offensive form. And sometimes a scoober is what you need to get the job done.
I do love a cheeky scuba, Remy. And we saw the fake coming out of the hand. Well, I say coming out, it stayed in their hand because it was just a fake. We saw Wiseman faking that throw earlier. Excellent toolbox she's got in terms of throwing capabilities and quality. But it's just a mismatch there. I feel like if Koźnicki had a bigger form, she might have been able to make a play on Delaval, but just didn't have the size to get in front and body her around.
Delaval using that positioning that she had and all of that strength.
But it's a smart throw placement as well. You've got to give credit to Wiseman there. It's a smart choice. We've seen some smart choices from both sides. We've seen some less smart choices in some instances. But Mainzelmädchen now will need to focus up and keep themselves well in the second half as a pick call on the number 24 of Gnyagl. The comeback kid, as we will lovingly call her.
Oh, who doesn't love a great underdog story? I guess if you're not the underdog, you would prefer for the leader to win, but otherwise, we've all been the underdog at some point.
It's all about dodgeball, a true underdog story, as we'll see Hosokawa redeem an errant pass that just sits in the breeze. They got lucky with that one as we see a pick and a foul. I think that's a foul at the front of the stack. Janitska having a little bump. Hosokawa considers her upfield options. Oh, and Wiseman sneaks through like a thief in the night. I love that little bit of just getting a hand in the mixer. So simple, but so lethal. So turn generated. YAKA have an opportunity now. See if they can't take control of this game. Glinka finds Bus. She's gonna have to go low. And a little jump there, just for style, showing off for her mum back home. Happy birthday, Mummy Bus. We've already said it once, but your daughter going to work for you.
Some great acrobatics there from Paula Boss, just to double check that she's available. But Robin Wiseman, close and close. I love that. It's taking a little bit of baiting to get the throw there, but knowing you have that closing speed to get just half of a hand on the disc.
Indeed, and great separation of Bus there. Not the nicest throw from Glinka, definitely making her teammate look good, but that is effective, so that is 9-8, first break in the half, and first break once again going to the ladies of Noisy-le-Sec.
And Paula Boss from the Netherlands, part of the Eurostar Tour, but deciding to play with YAKA this year.
Yeah, there is a rather big name team that Boss knows quite well, who are also at this tournament. You might have heard of them. They were in the opening game, Emmy, which you had the delight of calling. But yeah, Boss getting very much involved in the wider European scene. She played actually with Polish team Troubles at the EUCF series last year in Cahors in Venice. But finding YAKA, who came third at that tournament. We see Koźnicki knocking on the doorstep. She finds some good resets here and punches it in. That's a very, very quick, clean hold. A great response to YAKA's break.
And Mainzelmädchen really staying on that far sideline, throwing into those tight spaces, but able to work the unders. They just march it right down the field to keep this game so close.
So close in terms of scoreline and close in terms of defense. That ties it up again once more, 9-9. With 40 minutes left on the clock, I have a feeling, Emmy, we're going to see this one go to a very high scoreline unless either team can really find any momentum. There've not been any real runs here. It's just kind of been, you know, a break, couple of holds, another break, sort of trading between the two sides. Had obviously YAKA at one point with 2 breaks in front, and then Mainzelmädchen getting those valuable ones back just before the half, ever so important, their own break. But now, second half, I think latter stages, do you think either team's going to pull out in front?
I know they certainly want to. We just have not seen that so far today. Anytime a team starts to kind of get on a run, then the other team just really pushes a squash to it.
So Rodriguez, far sideline. He's going to find Wiseman in the middle, putting out into space. Oh, and it tumbles out of the hand. Richon has one little look at it extra, but unfortunately that's going to go to the ground, and an opportunity now for Mainzelmädchen to respond after their hold with a break right back. And they're going to put it up. Oh, double coverage, but good spacing of the throw. Going to need a reset now, though, with lots of players poaching into the lanes. And not much of a mark, and not much a defender. Who on earth let that happen?
And really credit to the big fakes from Mainzelmädchen. You had this force side so flooded with defenders moving across.
So a much needed break for Mainzelmädchen. And there we again see that complete defensive error. 10-9 Mainzelmädchen. We'll see more of it soon.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train. Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
Welcome back to the action here on the fields for this WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships, where we have just seen Mainzelmädchen find YAKA sleeping, defending their own end zone, and giving up a very valuable break in this second half.
We haven't had a team score 3 consecutive goals so far in the game. We've had teams, both teams have scored 2 in a row. We have not yet had 3 in a row, which I would define as at the start of a run.
Well, it's all about that valuable double break, Emmy. If you can do that, if you can get your D-line to generate 2 turns and punch it in, it gives you that momentum. And we've talked so much this week already about how momentum can really be used to grab hold of a game. But both teams just battling a real dogfight right now, as we see Robin Wiseman put up a cheeky inside, flat as a pancake to Wolfsteiner. She makes it just look so simple. I really like that.
You talked about Robin's toolbox, and that just makes her so difficult to mark, but then that also makes it incredibly difficult for all of the defenders downfield, because she could throw anything. There, she throws the flick that kind of goes overhead. Sometimes that could be an upside down throw as well that goes a little bit differently. And she had that extra second or so with the layout to really wind up.
Yeah, visionary throw. Sees that there are not many defenders in the far side space, but puts it out anyway, keeps it safe. I think you correctly identified as we see a timeout call here, Emmy. Earlier on in the game, Mainzelmädchen really going for it on defense, just as much as YAKA were earlier. And it's the issue of leaving the marked position when you really, like the layout bid that didn't really seem to give Wiseman any cause for concern whatsoever. I mean, you've got to go for it, especially at this important stage and power pools. You've got to give it everything you've got, but then just allowing Wiseman to just stand there and throw whatever she wants.
It's a very delicate balance. You want to be able to show the intensity, and sometimes a layout, even if you don't get it, it's enough that when the player catches it, they're maybe rattled a little and throw it away. That's not going to happen with a veteran thrower like Wiseman, like some Mondial for YAKA, and several players on Mainzelmädchen. So you have to assess, do I really think I'm going to get this block? If you're not, you're better suited to get there and get a mark on and start stall counting as soon as contact is made to catch that disc.
And that's really the difference maker at the truly elite level, Emmy. You see it oftentimes. You'll see players actually switch on, they'll actually look at a pass and they'll make the adjustment and the decision. I particularly enjoy watching when you see slow-mo replays of when someone is watching the play develop and they see that the turnover is going to happen, and they immediately, even before the disc hits the ground, start to play defense. And it's about making those calls, knowing what you can get, knowing yourself, what you can actually put proper pressure on versus what you can just look good flying past, you know?
Right, and a layout D is not the objective every time. Great defense and eventually getting the turnover is.
It's a bit like getting a hand block and giving up your force.
Exactly.
It's a team sport, Emmy, team sport. So, tell you who are playing like an excellent team together, using the full depth of their roster. I think Mainzelmädchen are doing a good job of just that. So we see Hand is swinging around the back. Sakawa coming in this side. Punch in the middle to Koshitsky. I say using their full roster. We are seeing those two players on the field rather a lot. But they are phenomenally talented. Nice work through the middle. Not able to have any separation upfield. Hand is again very static here from Mainzelmädchen. Obviously the transition. The reaching hand, but no layout bids there. Good patience. Hosokawa, plenty of space, way too much space. Valuable break side throw, pops it up, and that is a great reception from Hoffman. Oh, and that poach off mark, Emmy, that was not smart at all.
It was definitely costly, especially against this veteran handler core we see from Mainzelmädchen. And they swung the disc back and forth so well. And that really allows for that beautiful, beautiful look into the end zone.
And disc placed very well to keep it out of the hands of Wiseman. Definitely had a good eye on that.
Leading so wonderfully above Wiseman, and then also in front.
Just kept it out of contention. Literally just, it has been a game of inches, Emmy. It really is. And that was just the 2 inches. And we're talking about making the experience and knowledge to know when you can make a play and when you can't make a play. Really good to see Wiseman sort of knowing that she, you know, there's no point throwing herself on the floor for that one. That one's already, you know, that's in the bank unless something happens inside the player's mind and they get too complacent.
And it was improbable she would be able to make a play without causing some kind of contact as well, which is obviously a violation in this sport.
Exactly, and also, you know, players are not called to just not make fouls, but also as, you know, the higher standard of just, you know, playing within the rules. Exactly, personal safety. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. You read my mind, Emmy, as we see YAKA now working through the Mainzelmädchen zone. As we'll see Mondial put it up to Wiseman, who's in rather a lot of space. Good splitting of the deep there. Textbook stuff as she sinks it in.
And Wiseman and Glinka were doing that earlier in Mainzelmädchen's zone. we didn't have the opportunity to see this develop because there was a turnover earlier on. But by Wiseman stretching the field, that allows Mondio to put up that throw along the sideline, and then a wonderful leading, continuing pass to Glinka. That will be her second goal of the game.
So there's an interesting difference here, Emmy, between the choices in terms of the players being spread around the field of both sides. So Mainzelmädchen are putting their best players, arguably, in the hand set, in the sort of crashing spaces, very short in the field. So once they get behind the cup, they're finding it much more difficult to keep the flow going. Whereas YAKA, I mean, perhaps just because of their sheer roster depth, are able to put players like Wiseman and Glinka in the backfield and know that their handler set, I mean, obviously you've got Mondio, who's a good anchor there, but knowing that you can trust those players in the backfield to just do the job of keeping it swinging means you can really put those big shooters far deep in the space without any worries.
I think it's a really interesting strategic move that if they can get it there, it will work really well.
And we saw them rewarded for that choice there, because Mainzelmädchen will look to respond. Low pass, far sideline, but good composure. Yeah, we'll need to put a big shot into the space. That one is not going to be run down by the intended target. Good defensive pressure, smothering the Mainzelmädchen offense.
De La Val had good spacing to get that, but the mark and the pressure there on the throw made it much more difficult to release that with the accuracy that it needed, given the defender.
Well, it was a high stall option. Just sort of chuck it and hope, as we'll see Mondio put the disc out to the blades of grass in the deep field. That was bizarre, truly bizarre.
It seemed almost like a huck and play D, but
I'm not sure YAKA needs to do that in this game. As we see Kosnitsky. Lots of good pressure upfield, shutting down Hosokawa, and there's going to be a stall-out call. Going to see that contested, so it's going to come back. Definitely a high stall throw, without a doubt, Emmy.
And we're starting to see more highly contested, high stall throws because the defenses are locking down so much, making those options difficult, because we're at 11-11 in the second half of power pools.
And this game means so much to both teams. As you say in the series earlier, Emmy, Mainzelmädchen are behind. YAKA have 2 wins. But of course, the really meaningful one, YAKA had their eyes on the prize at Windmill, really wanted that championship going into this tournament. As we see Hosokawa using her speed. Oh, and a complete miscommunication between the two players. Hosokawa had great separation. Why on earth did she stop running?
I'm wondering if she thought maybe there was another cutter coming out of the stack to go get it, because it looked like she was running onto it very well put throw. But this is an opportunity for YAKA.
We'll see a big roll curve back counter, Wiseman. He's going to shoot it deep, but that's going to be batted away. Very well read, Karolin Janitska. Just not a great throw.
The throw was definitely short. When Janitska batted that, if there was another YAKA receiver following it, that could have been caught on the second attempt.
Well, again, we see players not catching their Ds. We're not a fan of that in this booth, but we are a fan of that reaching stretch by Kosnitsky. Nice attack, and she's going to overthrow Hosokawa. That's the second time those players haven't connected at this point. So YAKA opportunity now. Rather short field for a valuable break. Wiseman poached in the middle of the field. Going to be used as an easy reset. That's a big throw. It's going to sit and sink. Oh, and just enough pressure. Again, we see the 45 shirt of Karolin Janicka. Separation downfield, but playing small ball, and another error. I think Ochnitsky is starting to get very tired. She's played a lot of points in this game. You can see the frustration there.
Turning into a grinder of a point. Both teams reaching their end zones.
Oh, an easy put's going to go up, but it's going to be taken away by Hosokawa. Sneaking underneath the arm of Wiseman. Perhaps a little bit of contact there. Wiseman doesn't seem to like that at all. Looked rather clean to me, though. I think she just snuck through. We'll get perhaps another look at that one as the players discuss. Game advisor Alan Baggish, the American living in Canada, comes in to give his opinion. First time we've seen the game advisors really get involved.
There haven't been very many foul calls in this game, and really many calls at all, aside from a few stall calls. Really shows to the spirited nature, and even discussions like this are part of good spirit of the game as well.
Let's have a look at that one. Sneak in. There was a little bit of a bump. Interesting to see that. Obviously very difficult always to see on the playbacks exactly what occurred. Either way, though, despite whatever contact may have occurred, that was really great attack from Hosokawa. You oftentimes see players kind of, just giving up, but she really used her speed to get in front, which is what you have to do, especially not easily spooked as Wiseman. That's going to be a contested foul. Talking about the lack of calls there, I feel like the two teams having played each other quite well, you sort of, they know the level that they want to play at. Ultimately, obviously a non-contact sport, but occasionally there's a differences of opinion, especially across the international scene, as to how much should be tolerated.
And if you've played with each other, you might be a little more familiar with their offensive sets, so things like picks might not happen quite as much, or you know a little more what this player is going to do.
And just the reason of, they're both elite teams who know how to play by the rules. As we see, YAKA now looking very static indeed. Wiseman generating with a strike cut, a little bit more flow, but the stack just look like they're not really doing much. Glinka adjusting well far side. Wind really starting to pick up, gusting into the faces of us in the commentary booth, and that's a redemption as we see the disc overshot, but finding the hands of Sarah Broussal. Oh, sorry, Delaval even. The 2 looks like a 1 for him over in this back corner.
Delaval has been so strong in the end zone today. And what she does great is she sits and waits. She has so much patience, which is absolutely crucial in an end zone offense. Not everyone can cut at once, then it's just chaos. But she stays and waits, and then it was an overthrow at the end of this very, very long point to get that conversion.
See, that was an interesting foul call there, but at the end of the day, it's self-refereed sport. So you see YAKA taking a valuable break here in this second half. In the lead now, 12-11. But that was a scrappy old point, Emmy. Koshnitsky definitely very tired. I think she had 3 unforced errors almost in a row, overthrowing Hosokawa twice, although that perhaps a miscommunication on the first, and then just simply a drop.
There were 7 total turnovers in that point, which you can tell it's a sign of fatigue in the second half, but it's also a sign of really, really tight defense. So players are having to work harder on offense, and then those miscues will happen, or your mark is so smothering. Maybe you're releasing just an inch differently than what you normally would. That changes the direction of your throw, makes it more difficult to catch, and so on and so forth. It has a cascading effect.
So once again, Mainzelmädchen will need to respond well here. We've had some good, clean, offensive holds to respond to YAKA's breaks previously. But of course, the D-line now will be discussing from YAKA about getting the start of that lead. I mean, we've been talking about how there have been no more than 2 points scored in a row by either side in this match. Could we now see a double break?
The game has been waiting for the double break. We thought that Mainzelmädchen may be able to get it earlier in the second half. Now YAKA so far on a 2-0 run. But every time that happens, the other team, this time it's Mainzelmädchen, comes back and answers. They know each other's number.
All sailing over the head there. Again, we'll see Hosokawa. Krasnitsky is back on the field again, Emmy, for the O-line of Mainzelmädchen. Hopefully she's got the focus back on, had a little opportunity to just have a chill, maybe grab some water, but nice flow from Mainzelmädchen right now.
Always need to have a short memory.
Oh, and a scooped up Wiseman. Defensive play there. Mark didn't keep her busy enough. And Mainzelmädchen need to apply force at some point. Worried about those big hucks perhaps as they put a lofty toss up to Wiseman. Patient swinging. Oh, there we go. Hosokawa getting it back.
Great anticipation from Hosokawa, knowing where the disc was going to go. That's the natural continuation. We saw her with another attempted block earlier and gets it this time.
Not really much in the way of good movement downfield. Defenders doing a great job of shutting cuts down. Hosokawa putting the team on her back right now. Krasnitsky.
The vertical stack is set up very, very close to the far sideline. Now as they're swinging over, they have a little bit more room. But it's interesting, you typically see teams give more space on the force side.
Perhaps going for almost a Japanese style. We saw Mud yesterday, very tight stack in a similar sort of part of the field, Emmy. But a pick call will pause play briefly.
Something else that happens in the vertical stack, more picks.
Yes, we have seen them transition to that. They played a horizontal stack early in the game. But now, as you say, vertical. This Mainzelmädchen need this point to stem the bleeding, and there is a miscued throw. Krasnitsky unable to make the adjustment with Wolfsteiner on the shoulder.
Krasnitsky came back a little too late to get that handler fill, so the throw, instead of coming around to space, came inside, straight to the defender.
So YAKA opportunity for that all-important double break, Emmy. Wiseman surveys the field. But Mainzelmädchen putting on some stifling defense of their own now. Big shot's gonna go up. And that's gonna be much better placed than previous. And there we go, Emmy. 13-11 to YAKA. They're doing it in great style here. Let's have another look at that shot.
It took 24 points of game to get 3 scores in a row, but with that, YAKA goes up by 2.
heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Welcome back to this women's power pool M. Round 11 here on the fields in the Lebanon, Ohio Sports Complex. We are here at the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships as we see the talismanic handler of YAKA, Aline Mondieu, putting up the pull for Mainzelmädchen. And so again, we see YAKA really shutting down the upfield very effectively here. Hosokawa near sideline, pops it up into the middle. Kosnitsky. Again, such great cover upfield. Really needs a handler reset. She's got two available. Lavoie is the one she chooses. Not seen that much of Lavoie so far this game. Good to see her up. Dressing. Gonna choose the around. It's a nice shot, well taken by Kosnitsky. It's a tiny bit high, but reeled in, and there's he go, punches it. Nice, simple, flowing offense.
So it's really interesting because attacking towards the right side of the screen end zone, Mainzelmädchen has so much more room on the fourth side. They set up their vertical stack more in the center of the field. That gives them so much more space to be able to work than they do going the other direction. And that could possibly contribute to their success. Even though there was very tight defense from YAKA, they were able to get open, get that separation, and work it down the field.
Fantastic defense from YAKA, though, really, as I was saying during the point there, Emmy, shutting down the deep looks. I know they were mindful of that coming into the game. Certainly Mainzelmädchen have some fantastic throwers. But I wanted to highlight Lavoie there. So it's nice to see her on the field. She was saying in her player survey about how when she first moved to Germany, she's originally from Montreal in Canada, she was saying that how welcome she felt into the Mainzelmädchen side, and I just really wanted to point that out in terms of Mainzelmädchen are very much a team of local players, local heroes, if you will. They all say that, you know, the reason they've come to this tournament, with the team rather than choosing to perhaps play for somebody else is because they've really developed that chemistry and that love for each other. So nice to see that we're always with Ultimate Teams embracing new players from other scenes elsewhere. But, just wanted to highlight that one as we get back in play with YAKA. One stride ahead in this game currently as we come to the business end of this match. See Dalaval frantically cutting, being shut down effectively. Talk about handler marks as Wiseman puts it deep, Glinker's under it. What a safety valve release throw there, Emmy.
Rose Glinka lives in Madison, is a Heist teammate that has come on with Wiseman to play on this YAKA team. And when the stall count is getting high and Robin Wiseman has the disc, Glinka knows, I am going to run straight to the end zone and Robin will take care of the rest. She still had a defender, had to go up with two hands, but a great way to save a high stall count situation. And they're now in game point zone.
Oh, and that was, as you say, a great heads-up play. I think the defenders at the back of the stack did know that it was getting a high stall count. Credit to Mainzelmädchen, fantastic handler coverage, completely smothering Delaval and Mondieu. Whereas you see YAKA choosing to cover the down stack a little bit more. But as you say, first match point here. Opportunity for YAKA's D-line to come out and close this one. Just been talking about all games, such a valuable game to be winning. But Mainzelmädchen with it all to do to keep the dream alive.
And so far in this game, they've scored when they needed to, but that could be costly.
That is a disappointing error there from Trebing even. Bas with the disc. The wily handler finds Rodriguez. High release backhands. She uses so very effectively. Inside to Bus. Can it be taken away? Oh, and that is a huge grab for the game. Laura Dale. It's going to be a contact called.
And you can see in the background the YAKA players near each other, nervous.
That's a very risky shot, bold from Daniela Rodriguez. Hosokawa nearly gets up for it. Snag indeed, but not surprised to see the call coming. There's a big old bump there for Koznitsky.
And every player is entitled to their vertical space, offense and defense. So even as a defender, if you feel like your vertical space has been intruded by the offense going to get the disc, you have a foul call there as well.
We'll allow the players to discuss, Emmy, but considering the level of YAKA's offense during this game, I wouldn't be unhappy to see the disc come back, because that was an interesting shot, you know? It got taken by the wind, it got hung up. I mean, great play from Laura Dale, absolutely sensational snag, but it was a bit dirty. So that's going to be contested foul.
I think that was a good call there, as I'm sure Rodriguez did not maybe mean for the throw to come out quite the way it did.
Yes, the execution of what she envisaged, I feel she was not going to be particularly pleased with watching this one back. But
what a chance for YAKA right on their goal line.
Well, that early drop from Mainzelmädchen, giving the valuable opportunity. No one available for the break. Upfield. Oh, there is an opportunity though on the far sideline. Defender losing the mark. Rigolet's going to put it up, but too adventurous. Koznitsky uses her body to ensure that that one doesn't close out this game just yet, keeping the dream alive.
Koznitsky playing a lot of points in this game, part of the O-line, but on defense, she knows they have to get the disc back to stay alive, and she leaves her feet to go get it.
And there is a timeout call to give Koznitsky a well-needed and well-deserved rest there, Emmy.
The water bottles, I'm sure, will be coming out. And those are the kinds of plays that happen in a do-or-die situation.
And again, we'll see that beautiful form layout, just tipping it away.
Koznitsky loving the team because of the most amazing smiles. They were all smiles after that layout block with a chance to go on offense.
So valuable point now for Mainzelmädchen. They need to score this one. It is a must-score opportunity. First match point. So also important, we've discussed it earlier, Emmy, but let's have a little focus as these two teams have their timeout about the fact that the power pool system. So pools H and B coming together to form Pool M, which will be matched with Pool I from the top end of play in the initial pools. So they'll be facing up either against Iceni or Iris. If they can snag the top two spots, that keeps them in contention for that all-important championship bracket, the 1 to 16 rounds. Otherwise, they're locked out of the final position. And I know both teams on this field will be very disappointed not to finish. It is a strong power pool, though. You've got the likes of Canada's Fusion, who, I mean, you've got to say Pool B was a pool of death, Emmy. It had Brilliance, Brute Squad, Bamboo Fusion, YAKA.
There is not a weak team in that pool. You go into it, there's not one, oh, okay, yeah, this is our warm-up game. Every single one, very difficult. And with very, very close margins, just like this game we have going on right now.
I won't be surprised if Bamboo of Colombia will absolutely annihilate the bottom bracket, having been stuck there by coming bottom, but that is a ridiculous handblock, that.
So Daniela Rodriguez answering with a D of her own.
Oh, and there's again another forced throw into the end zone. And Rodriguez on the force. Can she use her stature once again? Break across. Good movement. Keeping it moving. That's going to be an overshot. Is there anyone to redeem it? Though there is not. Just a little bit too testy. Another error from Kosnitsky. Such a valuable player for the Mainzelmädchen team, but just shooting herself in the foot a little bit. Over and over again, the later stages of this game. So opportunity now for YAKA to close it out. Bus on the disc. Pops to Rodriguez. She's going to consider the options, but needs the reset of Bus. Held the disc for a very long time there. Travel's called. Little just readjustment off the back of that. Good reset. Heard the LAN. Back to Rodriguez. YAKA happy to be patient. Rigolet. She's got separation, but doesn't take it. Sees the shirt of Kosnitsky perhaps this time. Gonna need to use her reset too, but no one really looking for it. That's a good adjustment. Far sideline from Herdelan. Sharp fakes. Rodriguez, separation there. Runs it in, and that is gained to YAKA. They take it. Elise Becker with the score.
Elise Becker with that strike cut, but really credit to the YAKA offense. All 7 players with so much patience and control after a few turnovers to start this point. They punch it in a do-or-die game.
Becker putting the team on her back there. The throw and go as we see the celebrations. 2 European teams, top elite ultimates coming from Germany and France. And what a match that was, neck and neck, right until the end when YAKA got that double break and just took the momentum to see it out. Let's have another look at some of the highlights of this power pool match.
And YAKA will take a 3-1 advantage in the last 4 times these teams have met, but Mainzelmädchen not making it easy at all. Robin Wiseman being Robin Wiseman.
She was indeed in this game. That's 2 layouts for scores for YAKA. Really grand stuff. Delaval had a fantastic game, but Hosokawa really generating fire for the Mainzelmädchen side.
Bids everywhere on the field and hand blocks right on the goal line. Paula Bass playing for her mother's birthday.
But I think that last point, Emmy, really showed we had turns from both sides generated by defensive blocks. It's been such a neck and neck one, but what a way to finish it out. Beautiful scenes here on the fields in Ohio. We'll be back after this.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
So that is a wrap. YAKA finish it up 15-12 in this women's power pool match. We will have more action for you very shortly, but it's been a delight. I've been Hannah Pendlebury.
With Emmy Fitzgerald.
And thank you for joining us. We'll bring you more action soon as we see Sixers are warming up in front of us. Stay tuned.